All right, we have our first in-house tournament coming up, and this is the PMA No-Gi Summer Showdown. We want to take a few minutes just to go over some rules, how the tournament will be formatted, just some frequently asked questions sort of things. So first, when is the tournament? We have August 9th, 10th, and 11th. The question everyone keeps asking is what day, what time will I be competing? We don't have a schedule yet, so we gotta wait for the registration deadline to finish, and then we'll start constructing the brackets, see how many matches there will actually be, and lay them out on a schedule. Looks like probably we'll have some adult matches on Friday night, a lot of kids, probably all the kids on Saturday morning, maybe some more adults, and then if we need it, we'll put the absolute divisions on Sunday. So we'll just see how that goes. So what kind of things do we need to know? First, the different divisions. If you are a Kempo only student, you haven't trained jiu-jitsu in a separate jiu-jitsu class, we'll mostly be trying to partner you into brackets with other kids that only train Kempo or other adults that only train Kempo. We don't have specific weight classes or anything for this tournament since we're only drawing from our student body. We just see who signs up and we'll match you as close as possible to people your size and skill level and age for kids and adults as well. But there's definitely going to be times where you might be fighting someone bigger, or might be fighting someone older or younger, or someone with more skill, more experience. So we'll have a lot of different types of matchups, I'm sure. This is a no-gi tournament, so you can wear gi pants or no-gi training shorts, but remember they can't have pockets, zippers, and they need to have a tie to make sure they don't get pulled off easily if someone accidentally pulls on them. But in no-gi training, you're not allowed to grab any cloth. So if your partner is wearing gi pants, you can't grab them. If they're wearing a t-shirt, you can't grab it. No cloth whatsoever can be gripped, okay? You can also wear tighter pants like leggings or spats. Men, you do have to wear no-gi training shorts over the leggings or spats if you choose to wear those. You can wear we would actually recommend that you compete in a rash guard. Often, some people wear a rash guard by itself. Sometimes we wear a rash guard and a t-shirt over it. A lot of times when we actually start live training, we'll take our t-shirts off and just spar in our rash guards because the t-shirts do get caught quite a bit. So we would recommend that you take your t-shirt off, but we won't make you if you'd prefer to wear the t-shirt. We might just have to pause every now and then and get someone's toe or foot or hands unstuck from a t-shirt. What else? We have, for uniform, that's about it. Anything else there?
Of course, no jewelry.
Yeah, no jewelry, just like always. Great. Schedule, we'll figure out later. Let's talk for a minute about the points. So in a jiu-jitsu match, the goal, of course, is to take someone down to the ground, control them, and in the process of doing that, there's a lot of moves and positions that you go through that will give you points for. Why? The ways to win are in matches where we allow submissions, which is going to be all of our beginner and intermediate level matches and up, but we will have some kids novice divisions for kids that only train Kempo that haven't learned any submissions yet, where they'll only be competing for points by getting positions. They won't be allowed to do submissions. Everyone else can win by submission. So if she catches me in some kind of submission, let's say some kind of arm lock, an arm bar, something like that, and I tap out, the match is over, she won. A lot of times in training when there's a submission, we get up and we reset again. In a tournament, you don't reset and try again. If you win by a submission, the match is over, which makes grappling a pretty unique sport because it has a way to end the game with one move. Most sports don't have that. You have to play all the way through the match length in order to find out who wins, and we have a move that we can do. Any of those submissions that get the person to give up, match is over, even if it's only 3 seconds into the match, which can be a bummer, but something to learn from, and you go back and figure out what you did wrong, and that's what these tournaments are good for. They help us learn. So then if there isn't a submission, then the match is gonna have a time length, and when the time is up, we figure out who won by who has the most points, and you'll score points for doing different things. What are ways that you can score? We'll start with takedowns. If you execute a takedown that lands inside the opponent's guard, so if she's in any kind of guard, she's between my legs or in a half guard, or my feet could even just be positioned in front of her like an open guard. If there's any kind of guard present, as long as she keeps me down on my back or on my butt for 3 seconds, she's gonna score 2 points for a takedown. If the takedown lands her past my guard, So she comes down and lands in a position like side control. This is called a clean takedown. So as long as she holds me here for 3 seconds, it'll be worth 4 points. So that's a 4-point takedown. That same rule applies to sweeps. So if you sweep your partner, which is when you're going from bottom to top, and they fall back and you come on top but land inside their guard, that's gonna be 2 points. You remember you need to stay on top for 3 seconds first, and that can be standing or on your knees, as long as they're on their back or on their bottom, and you're on your knees or on your feet above them, you're on top, stay there for 3 seconds, you'll get 2 points for a sweep. If that sweep lands you in a dominant position past their guard, like mount or side control, now it's considered a clean sweep. Stay there for 3 seconds and you'll score 4 points. Those are gonna be the primary ways that you're gonna get to the ground and be changing positions up and down. But there's some other ways we can score as well. If Maggie's on top and she's inside some type of guard, if she can get past the guard and get to a dominant position like side control and hold it for 3 seconds, she's gonna get 3 points for passing the guard. If she moves into a position called knee on belly and holds it for 3 seconds, remember this knee has to be on the belly, the one closer to the legs, the other knee off the ground, hold that for 3 seconds, you'll score 2 points for knee on belly. If she goes to mount and holds mount for 3 seconds, that's worth 2 points. If she ever gets the back with either both hooks in, hooked around my thighs, or a body triangle, unless she can lock one, but either of those will score 3 points for back control. Something interesting for this rule set is if you have back control, let's say, with both hooks in, you hold it for 3 seconds and score 3 points, and take one of your hooks out and wait 3 seconds, and then put it back in again, it will score you back control points again. And she could do that as many times as she wants. The same thing would apply to knee on belly. If she went to knee on belly, took her knee off, waited 3 seconds, went back to knee on belly, hold it for 3 seconds, she can score knee on belly points over and over again. So there's a way to rack up the score there if you want. But of course, every time you're making that transition is a good opportunity for the guy on bottom to try to escape. So you should be cognizant of that when you're the one stuck underneath them, and when you see them take that hook out, take advantage of that lack of control they have now on that side of your body and try to escape in that window before they put it back in. Or at least don't let them put it back in. Don't let them keep scoring over and over again. Let's see, did we cover all the points? We got sweeps, takedowns. Oh, that's a good one. For this tournament, which is very unorthodox, most of the time this isn't the case. Reversals are the term we use for when we're on bottom and we manage to go in a bad position, so like mount, side control, and we manage to go from bottom to top. So a classic example would be an UPA escape. We call that a reversal. It's a little bit different than a sweep. A sweep is usually the terminology for when you use some type of guard to go from bottom to top. So when you have the guard placed, open guard, half guard, closed guard, any kind of guard, and you go from bottom to top, we call that a sweep. When you're in a bad position and go from bottom to top, we call it a reversal. In this tournament, reversals are counted the same as sweeps. Normally, there aren't any points for reversals. This time it's the same. So an UPA escape, where you go from bottom to top but land inside their guard, would be a 2-point sweep. Just going from bottom side control and flipping the person over to get to top side control, that's 4 points. That's a clean sweep because you landed past their guard. So that's a good one. Points don't stack in this tournament. What does that mean? If I'm passing the guard, and let's say I pass guard to knee on belly. Remember, knee on belly scores 2 points by itself, and passing the guard scores 3 points. But since I did them in one move, they don't stack together in this one. So I will only score 3 points for passing the guard. So I'll get the higher of the two. I wouldn't get my extra 2 for knee on belly. To do that, I would need to go down to side control, hold her for 3 seconds, then come up in a separate move to get knee on belly points. There are no advantage points in this one. There's no points for submission attempts. I think that covers most of the points things. Let me get my list.
Except for when they kick in.
Oh, very good. We haven't even gotten to time lengths yet. So, match lengths. Novice kids and teens, 17 and under, Kempo, that are only training Kempo, will have 4-minute matches and no submissions. Their entire 4-minute match will be with points. Everybody else that is allowed to do submissions, the first half of your match is going to be no points. That means it's a submission only match. You're only trying to win by getting a submission for the first half of the match. Let's say it's a 4-minute match, which is going to be the case for our beginner, intermediate, and advanced kids, 17 and under. Will be 4-minute matches, and they're allowed to do shoulder locks, arm bars, and chokes. All of those are legal. For those guys, the first 2 minutes, there's no points. So if she takes me down, passes my guard, gets the mount, nobody scored anything. We're both just trying to get submissions. Halfway through the match, one of us will yell, points! And now you know, from that point on, anything you do that is a point scoring move will get you points. Why is that? This rule set encourages you to go after submissions, the thing that finishes the fight. Sometimes because of points, people play it very safe because they don't want to risk the other guy scoring anything. And occasionally that leads to more boring matches, and they want to see go after the submission, really try for it. There's not as much to risk since the other guy can't score for it. It also is kind of nice if you make a mistake early on in the match, you get taken down, get your guard passed, you're not out of it. There's no harm. If you have good defense and you can escape, you're going to come back and it's not going to make a difference, which is nice if you are outmatched with someone that's faster, stronger. You can kind of weather the storm those first few minutes, let them gas themselves out a little bit, and by the time the points come in, maybe it's a little more of a level playing field as long as you don't burn too much of your energy. Okay. When we go up to our 15 to 17-year-old teenagers, they are also allowed to apply straight ankle locks. Again, our other kids are only allowed to do shoulder locks, like key locks and kimura submissions, arm locks, any of the straight arm lock or arm bars, and all chokes. Those are all legal. Our beginner, adults, and masters are gonna have 5-minute matches. So that's our white belt, adults, and masters. Masters just means 30 and up. They can all do all shoulder locks, arm bars, chokes, and straight ankle locks also. Just straight ankle locks. Remember that's this one, where we have the leg under our armpit, and we're just applying pressure straight to the ankle by bending the foot back and applying force up underneath, attacking it this way. So that type of submission is legal. No twisting leg lock. So we're not allowed to do one like this, an Aoki lock, where it's starting to twist the leg, because now we're attacking the knee, or like a toe hold submission like this, not allowed until the intermediate division. Heel hooks, not allowed till the intermediate division, okay? And it'll be the same for straight knee bars as well, not allowed till intermediate. So intermediate and up, adults and masters. So that's gonna be our BJJ blue belt and up. You guys are gonna have 6-minute matches with 3-minute overtimes if necessary. So if no one gets a submission, score is in a tie at the end of 6 minutes, you guys will have 3 more minutes to keep going and see if we can get a winner. You guys can do all shoulder locks, arm bars, chokes, all leg locks, wrist locks, groin stretches, bicep and calf slicers, all legal. We're also gonna have for this tournament and some adult absolute divisions. This is no weight class, and it can be any skill level, and we'll have in any age for adults. We'll have a men's absolute and a women's absolute. So all of you guys are welcome to do it. Those of you that have signed up for the tournament, there's not gonna be an extra registration cost for the absolute division. We're just gonna ask who wants to do it, and we'll make a separate bracket for the absolute division. The absolute division will be 10-minute matches with a 5-minute overtime if necessary. If you make it to the finals for first and second place, it's gonna be a 20-minute match with 2 10-minute overtimes if necessary. So 40 total minutes possible for the final. Hopefully you have some good cardio. All adult and masters competitors are allowed, and we will have a men's and women's division like we said. So what are some things we can't do? None of the divisions are allowed to do a hand over mouth, like this, and try to submit your partner with a muffler. There are some tournaments where that's legal. This is a friendly in-house tournament. It's kind of a dirty, cheap move, so We're not allowing that one. Spinal locks or neck cranks are not allowed. So nothing where we're just attacking the neck. This is not to be confused with legitimate chokes that do sometimes hurt the neck some. So if you're in a guillotine and your partner's choking you, but it's hurting your neck and you tap, you can't afterwards say, oh, but it was cranking my neck, it shouldn't count. That counts, it's legitimate, it's allowed. If you're in a triangle choke and they're pulling on your head, that can apply pressure on your neck, but that's allowed. So you need to make sure you stay out of those submissions or defend them properly. Those things are all gonna be allowed, but anything that only attacks the spine or the neck is not. So I'm not allowed to submit her by just grabbing her head and pulling her head in like this, or getting her in what's called a twister submission, which twists the spine. Not allowed. No scissors takedowns are allowed. So if I'm standing up, I'm not allowed to jump up in the air, put one leg here, drop the other leg behind her and take her down. It puts her knee at too much risk. Same for jumping guard. We're not going to allow any of the divisions to jump guard. If that goes poorly, it can land on the side of the knee and hurt someone's knee if someone's side facing a little bit, so that won't be allowed either. All of your takedowns, remember to control the best you can and fall safely the best you can. The harder you fight them, the more you're increasing your risk of getting injured. So while it is good to work on your takedown defense, try not to let your partner take you down. Remember, overdoing it is putting yourself at more and more risk. So be careful on your takedowns. That's definitely the area that will have the least or the highest chance of injury. No slamming is allowed. In ADCC rules, if you watch the ADCC World Championships, they are allowed to slam to escape submissions, but we're not going to have slamming for this tournament. Okay, what else?
The overtimes, are they just like another roll, or is there certain positions we start in?
No, you'll just restart on the feet and just go again, just a regular roll. With the halfway points thing, you don't restart at halfway. So let's say we're in a 6-minute match together. At the 3-minute mark, you hear the referee yell points, and we know points are now on. We don't get up and start from standing. We just keep going from wherever we were. If I have, let's say, mount or back mount, something that would score points, and I achieved that position before points came on, there's still no points. So we could be in the mount, points come on, it's still gonna be 0-0, and I have to do the move that secures points after that point to score. What else? Does that about cover it? If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, ask us in class, of course, we'll help clear it up. We're looking forward to having a great weekend full of exciting matches, learning, camaraderie. We're really excited to see how the first in-house tournament goes. So I hope you guys sign up. The more of you that do decide to register, I know sometimes it's a little nerve-wracking if you've never competed before, but this is a good way to dip your toe in the water against friends, all people that we know and trust, and test us, because this is a great way to test your skills at a little bit higher level of stress and adrenaline than we normally have in just a roll at the end of class. So I encourage you to all do it, and the more of you that do it, the better our divisions are going to be, the more compelling matchups we'll have. So hopefully we have a lot of you guys sign up, and we'll see you on August 9th, 10th, and 11th.